Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Hearts of Iron 4 Millennium Dawn modern day mod here today on the channel. We have episode 3 of my Australian series here today. We're going to be continuing exactly where we left off with our operations in Indonesia. So if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like and subscribe if you're new. I'd really much appreciate it. We've lost 5k, they've nearly lost 50, and we're slowly but surely bringing the island chains of Indonesia under heel. So hopefully, if we're successful here today, we should be able to divide up the country. My god, there's still multiple wars going on now. Oh, they didn't last too long. They capitulated as soon as they were war decked. Okay, so we're doing okay in multiple areas. They seem to be holding in Borneo for now. And we might be able to push westward in the island of Jakarta as well. We're getting the Australian economy back on track. We currently have 60 factories, which is outstanding, seeing as we only started off with 10. And we've got just a couple of decisions to make about the islands. Some of you guys want me to pop it. Some of you guys want me to take all of it. So when we get to it, we'll make a decision. Because I'm still yet to fully decide on what to do. Alright, looks like the UK and Turkey want to send us some logistics. So what's going on over here? My god, it is so back and forth. Oh, so they capitulated them. Interesting. My god. The amount of wars going back and forth there is kind of crazy, even without American help. So, in the last couple of episodes, we conquered New Zealand and Papua New Guinea. And we're going to get to a stage where we're going to be able to get this ring of steel approach that I was going for. If we can control all of the islands north of Australia, that would be brilliant. And we can use that as sort of the front line to any foreign aggressors. And we're going to be able to essentially put the navy in and around these islands and defend Australia quite easily. We'll use the islands of Indonesia sort of like as a first line of defense, I'm thinking. So we've nearly got 1 million manpower as well. That's mostly because we're on conscription rather than a draft at the moment. So we're going to have to break that down. We've got a bunch of political power because, unfortunately, there isn't too much to do political power-wise. Because we are using a default tech tree. I would love to see an Australian national focus tree if there was one. Maybe there's some modders out there. But so far, even with the essentially base default Millennium Dawn focus tree, it is still very enjoyable and still very playable to play as Australia. But you just don't have those unique political events like the US and their internal politics, and same with in my Germany campaign, we had to deal with the political machinations in the EU. Alright, we're slowly but surely upgrading our air force as well. Nice. So we've won here on the island. There's still a couple more left. So we can probably move these divisions. Where exactly? I think we need it over here to go and help out, because they're really making their final stand here. But so far, thanks to our multiple naval invasions, we're in a really good position. But man, like I said, trying to take control of the entirety of Indonesia is just a little bit hard because they're such narrow islands, very low supply and logistics, and they have the population as well. Right, so let's drop the conscription requirements. So let's go back to a draft, because we had that earlier when we didn't have New Zealand and a couple of all the other island states in. We probably can go with upgrading the army slightly. We've gone through our political stabilization. We've got an upgraded AUG variant that we can use as well, which seems to have a 5mm grenade launcher on the front of it, which is sick. Can't wait to use them. We'll continue to push over here. There's a couple other small islands we might need to launch an invasion. It's ballooned to 100k. We've lost 7k, which isn't too bad, seeing as we lost a k in New Zealand. But overall, now that we're pushing on the final stretch here, we've got basically all my divisions Focusing in here, and Borneo's capitulated as well. Perfect. Yeah, let's just get everyone over here. We'll focus on this push. But like I said, this is make or break. Luckily, we put in the hard work, recruiting and constructing, and we got our debt to 0. We've got 500 billion in our war chest, and we were able to buy, essentially, the equipment to go after them. It's taken us 5 years to get into a position, so it is doable, but you do need a decent air force and navy to some extent. Although we don't, it's not like quality-wise, like we probably wouldn't be able to square up against a major faction, but just having the numerical supremacy's really just helped us out in this one. We've got a small navy, so we can't go like having a strong fleet, so I guess we go with this one. Okay, they've engineered a backdoor system to us. 7k now, it's nearly hit 100. So is it worth naval invading some of these smaller islands? Potentially. But even this, right? 7 Australian divisions against 1 Indonesian. It's actually holding us there. Unfortunately, the ADF political parties dropped to about a 45 percentile popularity, which is a pretty big percent. We could even probably drop this further to volunteer service. We obviously don't want to abolish the military, but now that we're going to get a lot more population from these newly acquired islands, we probably can drop it further. It's not like we haven't got the political power to spend and do so. Oh, they're about to capitulate. Only a little bit longer now. Nice. And let's just swing this over as well. So if you do play your own Australian campaign, if you conquer neighbouring islands, it takes about 6 years before you can be comfortable enough to go against Indonesia. But hey, we capitulated them. Nice. Oh my god. That was a hell of a fight. A little bit hairy there and there, here and there. So we can liberate Timor-Leste. Okay. So how do we want to do this? Look, I kind of see the argument for both. I kind of want to take territory so we can get the pop, the resources, and particularly the civilian factories. But also, I wouldn't mind leaving Indonesia at one point. Maybe you know what? Sending the new capital's going to Borneo anyway. How about I puppet everything but Borneo? And because it is, I do quite like having puppets. For example, they could help me out navally, because the AI can make naval engagements far quicker than I ever could. We also can get volunteer forces for them. So I think all these island chains in the south, for example, will get under our control, and I'll puppet Indonesia here in Borneo. I think that's what we'll do. And we could even give them the entirety of the island if we go after Malaysia next. So I'll take all this under my control. We'll control this with our own forces, because most of the population is around here as well. So we'll do both. We'll take control of most of the Indonesian islands under Australian control, and then we'll leave some remnants of the government here. And they are now a nationalist outlook. And also, I should be able to make a faction with them eventually as well. Because one of the easier ways to make factions in Hoi is to have a puppet, a vassal, or a subject under your control. But look at this. We've managed to create a bit of a buffer zone in this island chain. So if we can put our navy through there, we could nearly blockade anyone from coming and attacking the Australian mainland. Okay, so we probably could prohibit them as well now. Because, like, we've got 76 factories now. Nice. I would like to increase my naval dockyards, though. Quite a bit. We also want to get some higher fuel reserves as well. But we can go with military factories now. It's been 5 years or so. Okay, I've gone through and restructured the navy slightly. And we can probably go down and get more experience. So what's even going on here? So NATO's not doing their thing. Oh my god, Italy left. Switzerland and Austria have made their own faction. Okay. Oh wow. It looks like the axis of resistance has grown massively as well. Okay. So it looks like the US have been sort of thrown out of there. Then we've got the Shanghai Pact to the east as well. Interesting. Yeah, American influences has been thrown out. I wonder if they'll make a play there anymore. Because they did capitulate them. Anyway, it looks like Pakistan is guaranteeing their independence for whatever reason. But I guess we look to go after another faction eventually. Well, I think we go after Malaysia. So it's interesting that half of it is actually on the north of Borneo. Unfortunately, Singapore stands between us and the rest of Malaysia there. Now, we're probably not going to go after them. Singapore, that is. They're a one-tile nation. They've got a bunch of armies there. So, I think unless we take Malaysia, it's going to be quite hard to go after them. Like, I think it's Brunei are currently there as well. I think it's ruled by a sultan, Brunei. I could be wrong. So, some of these smaller factions we might not go after because it's just not worth it. Justifying. Okay, so we're currently improving our anti-tank equipment. We're getting 4th gen bombers and better quality fighters in as well. Because now we've got the factories to do so. So, oh, looks like Greece is going to leave the EU. Interesting. It's mostly the UK and Sweden from time to time. Wow. So it looks like Greece are going to have their own Brexit. Well, let's try and navally invade in the north. Now, thankfully, these islands are really quite close together. Oh, wait, hang on. Indonesia has a little bit down there in Singapore. Huh. I didn't know they owned those islands there. Anyway, let's set up 2 naval invasions. And we'll go after Malaysia, which should be a little bit easier of a country to take compared to Indonesia, and we'll slowly but surely make our way up to Thailand and maybe try and look to target Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, and a couple of other island territories as well. And then we'll sort of check our army to maybe deal with China. We'll see how we go. We might be able to tackle them. Alright, we're currently, for the first time, losing money, 2.7 billion, but thankfully we've still got a bunch in our war chest. Okay, so we're going to start justifying against Malaysia now. We've got 2 naval invasions, and then we can attack from Indonesia itself. Venezuela's currently at war. Interesting. Yeah, look at this. So they've got a bunch of units there. Singapore, which is kind of interesting. We also currently have around about 55 divisions, which is quite a bit. Well, it looks like Malaysia does have about 8 or so. The non-aligned party is growing. But for whatever reason, we are hemorrhaging a little bit of cash. We're still 100 days before we can get our fuel to capacity. Global trade. We currently still have a surplus in most of our stuff. Thankfully in rubber, we don't ever need to worry about that. And those military factories have nearly been constructed as well, which is fantastic. But we're in a really good position. Australia is at the moment. Nice. Okay. Whoa! As if they just went and did that. Oh wow, that's pretty early. 2006. I wonder if anyone's going to get involved in that then. Oh wow, so things have kicked off. Alright, those... Jesus. We're trying to modernize our Air Force, going from the 60s class fighter to the 80s. It is 2006. Oh my god. So, by the time we sort of start producing some of these, the newer variants are probably going to be out. So, even with changing our conscription policy to now volunteer, we still have a whopping 700k manpower. So maybe we need some officers in Victoria, New South Wales, just to give us some more money. But you got to remember that does cost fuel. That's something to keep an eye on. Okay. Nothing else we can go down that side of the tree. Same with the militaristic stuff as well. We could maybe please the upper class. We can't go down this stuff, even though it gives us extra research slots, which kind of sucks because you have to go down more religious stuff for whatever reason. It's kind of annoying that it's tied to that. Alright, we're currently going with economic boom. We're currently at total war as well with our governmental expenditures. We're still losing a little bit of money, but we've still got so much fucking money. It's insane. Our economy's sublime. Okay, we can request 1 Indonesian unit. Hell yeah. But the main reason why I puppeted them, so they can control their own air force. Same with the Navy as well. They might even be able to set up their own naval invasions. Okay, so Singapore's guaranteeing the independence of Thailand. Interesting. Yeah, so look at this. That's actually quite densely packed. I don't know if it's worth it. Like, maybe they've got a bunch of money. The banking sector would be insane. We could loot the central bank of Singapore. But, I don't think so. And mostly other countries' equipment there. Let's send them back. Nice. So we're at 6 billion now. We're making money. Yeah, so we can't go down this. That's a little bit silly. We're just waiting now for this justification to complete against Malaysia, and we'll try and incorporate another country into Australia's defence alliance and sphere of influence. Nice. The justification has been complete. And let's kick off another military invasion. We've got some spare units here as well. I've changed my recruitment depot to Darwin because we're operating mostly in the north of the country. Obviously earlier we were operating mostly in the eastern states because we're going after New Zealand and whatnot. Alright, so we've got plenty of fuel. We've got plenty of air bases nearby. So the fighters will be able to dominate the air quite easily then. Well, even in the invasion of Indonesia. So, let's get these flyboys running their drills. We'll send those reinforcements over. We'll go with naval invasion support. And I would imagine that Malaysia's strengths lie in their military more than anything. Okay, let's get those reinforcements over. And let's do it. Now, I will need to call in Indonesia if I want to attack from within their territory. And they are my vassals, so they will accept. Wow, there's a lot of actually units there, but we are winning. We have air supremacy over the top. And we're just waiting for those naval invasions to kick off as well. Oh, have I stuffed up here? Hang on. Why aren't they going? Oh, shit. Hang on. Are they not... Is that not on the... Oh, sometimes in Hoi, it's a little bit deceiving as to where the port is. There's no units on this order. Right, they went in. What? Vietnam's at war with the Philippines? What the fuck? What? Looks like they're half going? Alright, anyway, we've got this conflict up in the north, and the UK once again is supplying us with equipment, which is interesting that they keep on doing that. Maybe because we're technically still a part of the Commonwealth. Like, that'd be cool if there was like a republicanism national focus tree. Like, I think there's a lot you could do with Australia. I'm sure it's on the list. But there must be plenty more countries that arguably deserve a unique national focus tree. Right, so we've landed, so we can just swing everyone in now that we've got the port. Yeah, Brunei is like weirdly there. A small little, nearly landlocked country. Alright, we're carving up Malaysia now, like carving a cake. And it's only going to be a matter of time before they fall. We've also got some Australian drones that we can get as well. Oh my god, we lost 200 to their 3k. Crikey, and they've capitulated. Hell yeah. Well, let's unite all of Borneo. Yeah, let's unite all of this and give it to Indonesia. Nice. That looks cool. Yeah. And I'll take this over here, I think, under my direct control. It's kind of weird. Like, some of these countries, like, don't even, like, border geography-wise. Like, they probably could nearly rule themselves. Like, all these small little islands. It's interesting. I haven't really zoomed too far in this sort of area of the map in quite some time. And we've got some island territory here in the Spratlys. Oh, God. We can also get an agent as well. I haven't even been bothering with the agency and La Resistance stuff. I guess we'll send you to Beijing, whatever. To be fair, because it costs like 5 civilian factories to do anything. So we didn't even have that earlier on. But, oh, whoa, 144k they've lost. Holy shit. That's quite a bit. But it's interesting that they're attacking them in 2006. It's pretty early on the timetable-wise. But anyway, we've taken Malaysia here today, and I think we go up into Thailand, I suppose, and maybe try and conquer some of these other countries as well. Japan's chilling, because sometimes they can get involved. Okay, so let's justify the conquest of Thailand. I've moved my military forces over. Dude, our army has grown significantly. So we've got a coalition of forces in this defensive alliance, in the Australian Defence Force. We've got Kiwis, we've got Indonesians, Malaysians now, all fighting for, now, collective Southeast Asian security. And we'll eventually make it a faction as well, adding to the other various factions going on in the game. CSTO, NATO, the Swiss and Austrian Alpine Alliance, and the Shanghai Pact in the north. Interesting that there's a lot of factions gaining prominence in this Hoi 4 playthrough. May now, 2007. And the justification against Thailand has been complete. We've got more military forces heading on over. And let's have this war against Thailand. We might need to set up some naval invasions, but we will see how we go, because it's quite a thin way to get up here. They border with like Myanmar as well. But if we can hit them with overwhelming force, we should be okay. Let's set up the navy to go with another naval invasion. And let's deal with them. Oh, so they're Western outlook, because sometimes... Yeah, because technically aren't they controlled by the army now? I could be wrong. Anyway, war's been declared, and we'll push over the Malaysian border. And then we've got a decision to make with Thailand as well. We might take the... Boris is in charge in 2007? What? Okay. Okay, we knocked out 8k. Kind of crazy that he's in charge this early. After being overthrown in the recent weeks, eh? Now, I'm nearly tempted to probably puppet Thailand. We'll see how we go, because we could even puppet them and maybe give them... Like, if I can make one... sort of consolidated faction in the north, like, that might be a good idea. As we're slowly but surely getting away from Australia, our capabilities of really controlling some of these other factions become unrealistic. We currently have 110 factories at our disposal, so we might get some territory here and there, but we actually might be now, if we go after any other faction, mostly puppeting, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so there's only 2 tiles here. 3 at most, mostly 2, but we are struggling to push through there. Even though we have a whopping 50 divisions, we really we'll need to start navally invading into the capital. We could go for Bangkok, but unfortunately, it's the capital, so we might be better off hitting the coast here like this. And we'll try and rapidly take the north. Alright, let's try and Blitzkrieg that. Nice. We're rapidly taking their territory. You've always got to be wary navally invading into a capital in Hoi, because quite often there's units there and they do have unlimited supply in their capital, so they can basically stop you from getting in there. But we're taking most of the north now. If we can get this naval base, that would be fantastic to stop any potential threat of air supremacy. We've knocked out 50k, and look at this. Essentially what's happened here is they've moved their units from that front line back up to where the rest of the country's being overtaken. Oh my god, we've just absolutely overrun them there. Holy shit. They were really holding me in that choke point. Dude, that naval invasion worked perfectly. And they are moments away from capitulating now, you would imagine. Dude, how are they still holding out? There's 3 tiles left and this country still hasn't fallen. What the heck? Alright, let's get some more close air support. We're slowly upgrading the Air Force from the 60s variant of planes to now the early 90s. Let's get some more dockyards in, because we've buffed up the army, we've buffed up the civilian infrastructure, now we've got the military factories, the Air Force is coming along. We can now focus on getting a larger navy if we are to protect and defend these islands that we've acquired. But they're still holding out here. You got to give it to them. Nice. They're fallen. Yeah, but look at this. They're still holding here in their capital. Sometimes if you're getting swarmed as a nation as well, you're actually sometimes better off to try and hold it. And they've capitulated. Perfect. Well, I think what we do is I'll conquer what I want to control. So let's get all of this under our control. Hang on. Yeah, so let's just get all this, whatever this peninsula is called. And then I think I'll puppet the rest and kind of do the same with Indonesia. And if we get Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, we'll all give it to Thailand. Or essentially make it sort of the Siam Empire again. Nice. So, I would make us a faction now if I could. But in the green is collectively what we control. We've united Southeast Asia together against any other potential threat. So we'll try and improve our relations as well. And we've installed a new government in both places. Because you don't want to try and keep some of these Asian allies on side. Okay. Currently upgrading the navy as well. Oh yeah, Greece left NATO. Same with Turkey and Italy. Oh my god. Yeah, thankfully we're sort of moving away from NATO and the American sphere of influence, because they've got so many members leaving by days. It's kind of crazy. They seem to be kind of weak in this series, to be fair. They've lost control in the Middle East, and they're losing their grip on NATO as well. It's kind of realistic that if America fell or was weakened, Australia would have to deal with their own sort of collective security issues and ensure their own defense. Not really much else we can do politically. We've got 1,500 political power. And it looks like Indonesia's starting to, as well, build out a navy. Yeah, so this is what we control in our territory. Oh yeah, they're starting to build some like proper ships, even on just Borneo, which is interesting. Anyway, unfortunately, guys, we've got to wrap up the video here. Thank you very much for watching episode 3 of the Hearts of Iron 4 Millennium Dawn modern day mod series as Australia. The world is building certain factions around the world, and so are we. So stay tuned for episode 4 coming out tomorrow, where we continue to try and conquer Thailand's neighbours and essentially bring them under direct control. And then we'll see how we go. We might be able to go after some of these major factions in and around us. So if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like and subscribe if you're new for future content. Also, got to say a massive thank you to this month's YouTube channel members. Massive thank you to Divine Overhand, Mikey, Eric, Chuckles the Hut, Green Nero 1, Dimitri H, and Hector Pay. Really appreciate you fellas for being YouTube channel members. Thank you very much. Alright guys, got to end it here. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay tuned for more Hearts of Iron 4 content on the channel. My name's been Simpzy. Goodbye. I'll see you in the next one.